Hello everyone, welcome to Tigger Life. Wow, the Jaguar I-PACE is 3 years old now. Had its first MOT the other day, passed with flying colours obviously, as you'd expect for a car with, what, 14,500 miles on now. So what did cross my mind is, wow, I'm outside of manufacturer's warranty now, so what would happen if something went wrong? What's likely to go wrong, if anything? And if something did go wrong, how much is it likely to cost me? Well, it wouldn't cost me anything because I've got a full maintenance package on it, so I'm fairly lucky with that. So it covers everything, wear and tear items and any mechanical or electrical high voltage failures. So I'll be okay. But for anybody else that didn't have an extended warranty or a maintenance package, what would it cost? So what we're going to do, we'll go back to Tigger's den after we've finished walking Minnie. See her in the background, is that her? Yeah, there she is. So we'll finish walking Minnie, go back to Tigger's den, we'll have a coffee, and then we'll have a look and see what we can find. Okay, let's go. Okay guys, so really quickly before we get into it with the top 5 I-PACE concerns when they're outside of manufacturer's warranty, if you watched one of my previous videos, I did actually say that 2026 is going to be a really big year, so you need to subscribe so you don't miss out. Now I'm really sorry I didn't bring you a video last weekend, but that's because I've been really busy and I've actually been and I've bought another car. I'm not going to tell you what it is, I've not picked it up yet. Hopefully I'll be picking it up next weekend. So make sure you subscribe. Is it that side or is it that side? I never know. Make sure you subscribe and hopefully I'll be able to show you what it is next weekend. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the first fault that I've found that's most common or most likely to happen is one of the battery cells to go down, or quite possibly a couple of cells to go down at the same time. Now the really good news is that's covered under the 8-year or 100,000 mile battery warranty. So if that does happen to you and you've got a car that's, or an I-PACE that's over 3 years old, don't worry, speak to your local retailer and get it booked in, because that will be covered under the 8-year or 100,000 mile warranty. That's great news. So the second thing that I found is the HV heater. And what that takes care of is the cabin heating, the battery warming and the thermal management, and also the preconditioning of the battery as well. So if that goes down, it's bad news, you're in a lot of trouble. So what I've done is I've found some prices from independents and also some retailers as well. So to replace the HV heater, you'd be looking at an independent, anything between £1,700 to £2,000, or if you were to use your Jaguar retailer, anything between £2,500 to £3,500. I've also made an additional note here that if it needs additional hoses or lines that need replacing, that could increase to £3,000 or £4,000. Now the third thing is, believe it or not, aircon pipes. I've found a couple of people commenting that aircon pipes can crack over time. Now I won't insult your intelligence, I'm sure you all know what aircon pipes take care of. So getting into it with the costs, if you were to use an independent repairer, that could be anything between £1,500 to £2,000. If you were to use a dealer, that would be anything between £2,500 to £3,500. And there's a couple of other reports where it says if both pipes need to be replaced and it involves deep disassembly, it could increase up to £4,000. The next repair that I found is a BCCM, the battery charging control module. So that sits in between the charge port and the battery, and it takes care of all of the AC charging. Now, if that was to go down again, you'd be in a lot of trouble. You could still charge it on DC from what I've found, but you wouldn't be able to charge it on AC. So I couldn't actually see a lot of independents that would take this repair on. And quite simply, that's because of the coding that's involved in doing it, or that's what the reports say anyway. So if you were to have that replaced at your retailer, that could cost £3,000 to £4,500. And then finally, believe it or not, windscreen leaks. Now, I didn't really know much about this, but apparently I-PACEs can have some windscreen leaks as well during their lifetime. Now, how that can happen is obviously the bonding is starting to debond in between the actual chassis and the glass itself. Now, if that happens, your car's going to get soaked inside. So if you notice any water leaking, don't leave it, just get it sorted straight away. Now, there's quite a few different things that I'm going to list here. So if you were to just rebond the existing screen, that would be anything between £200 to £450. Now, I think that's quite unlikely though, because if you do have to remove the screen, they usually break. So if you were to have that replaced through somebody like, I don't know, let's just say Auto Glass, that would be anything between £400 to £700. If you were going to have it done at a retailer, that would be anything between £1,300 to £1,900. Now, a few people have said that they've had it done through their insurance as well, but that's only if it's cracked. And I think your glass excess is something between £50 to £150, isn't it? But if you could get it done through your insurance, if it's cracked, that's great news, because it'd save you a boatload of money, that would. Something else that I've had a look at here, let me just zoom in because the figures are quite small. Okay, so I talk a lot about using your Jaguar retailer for repairs and servicing. Now, the reason for this is not because I want all of the retailers to make a load more money, it's because of brand loyalty. Now, if you've not got an extended warranty and you turn up at a retailer looking for goodwill, you'll probably not get any goodwill, just simply because you've not protected yourself. You've not done the right thing and bought that protection just in case anything happens. So I've got some figures here. These prices are plus VAT. Now, if you were to have if your car was in between 3 and 5 years old and you got a 12-month warranty extension, that would cost you about £1,050 plus VAT. So what's that, about £1,250, something like that. If your car was between 5 and 7 years old, that would be £1,600 plus VAT. My maths aren't good enough to work out what that is including. And if the car was 7 to 10 years old, that would be about £1,700 plus VAT. Now, if you were to go for the 2-year extended warranty, if your car was 3 to 5 years old, that would be around £2,000 plus VAT, so £2,400. If your car was between 5 and 7 years old, that would be £2,800 plus VAT. And if your car was 7 to 10 years old, that would be £3,300 plus VAT. Now, that's for a proper Jaguar warranty, extended warranty, and that comes with roadside assistance as well, which it doesn't say, but I assume that also means they'll give you a vehicle as well if yours breaks down, which is great news. So if you think about it, all of those figures that I've mentioned with regards to the repairs, compare that to a extended warranty, and it just makes sense to buy an extended warranty, in my opinion. Now, what I was going to say with regards to using a retailer for your repairs, let's just go right back to when you initially bought the car. If you buy a used Jaguar I-PACE from a Jaguar retailer and you have extended warranty and you use them for your servicing, that shows massive, massive brand loyalty. So if you were to have something that for some reason wasn't covered by the extended warranty, your retailer would approach JLR and they'd get goodwill. And you'd have such a strong case because you've bought the car from within the retail network, you use the retail network for all of your service and maintenance work, and you just show all of that loyalty. Now, I know it's a gamble paying that extra money because I do like the fact that a lot of people do comment on my videos. I love the interaction that you guys have. And quite a few people say, oh, these prices are crazy. You can get it done much cheaper at an independent. And yes, you could, not denying that. And there's lots of independents out there that do really, really good jobs. But you're not being loyal to the brand. So you probably won't get any goodwill if you need it. That's just my thoughts anyway. So guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that if you're looking at buying a Jaguar I-PACE, I hope that this actually helps you and gives you a well-informed decision on which way you want to go. My honest opinion is go for it. I mean, I don't even know how much a 3-year-old Jaguar I-PACE is nowadays, but when we first got ours, when it was brand new, it was £80,000. So, I mean, I've heard reports of £20,000 or £30,000 for a fairly new one. So, you know, very, very good value. So I'd really recommend it. So that leaves me one thing to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Always be good to one another and love life. Always be good to animals and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.